Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the sixth episode of Astro Tech Quest. Today is a really special episode because we are having a special guest. We are having guest speaker. So, first off, let's introduce the guest speaker. How are you doing today?
Yeah, hi, I'm good. Uh, Hi guys, I'm a junior residing in the Bay Area and I'm very passionate about tech. So I look forward to sharing my thoughts on the podcast today about tech and other interesting things happening around the world.
Yeah. Thank you for joining the podcast. I'm really looking forward to more appearances. So yeah, thank you. Today we're gonna be going over two things. The first thing, as you know, we're gonna do like a little short interview with my guy here, and then after that, we'll be talking about something very interesting that NASA has done about a few weeks ago, which is they have discovered a new black hole since 2019. And if you guys don't recall, there was the first picture of a black hole taken back in 2019, and now we have a second one. That's pretty cool. So let's dive into that. All right. So first off, why are you fascinated with tech? What got you into it?
I think tech is fascinating because it's always evolving, and we can see this in the modern world today because of AI, especially as it's the new sensation, and specifically ChatGPT because everyone's been talking about it, everyone's been using it. So I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, um, there's like, Google and all those other companies, they're like competing with ChatGPT because it's like a huge sensation. So it's a fast growing industry, man. What was your inspiration behind tech or anything related to tech? What got you into it?
I think sci-fi movies definitely got me into tech because it's just very interesting. And an example of this would be Interstellar, because I think it was an amazing movie. It showed a perception of a world beyond what we can see. And a recent movie, The Creator, which released, talks about how AI is taking over the world, which is very interesting. So you guys should really watch that movie.
Yeah, for sure. I remember watching Interstellar, but it was like so long ago. Like I don't remember a single plot detail at all, but I should get back to it. Um, what is like your favorite part of technology? Is it like a specific field of interest, like biology, chemistry, physics, or is it like more in general, like hardware, software? What really is it?
For me, it's aviation.
Mhm.
And I think my passion for aviation mainly came from the movie Interstellar, as I said before. And it's just amazing how we can go from Earth to another, basically through a black hole to a new universe. And that was just fascinating to me. So I really like aviation.
Yeah, I like aviation too. I mean, it's kind of like also involved in like space too. So, those companies like Lockheed, they make like some really cool tech with aviation. I think NASA's making like a supersonic jet, which is pretty crazy. For fast travel and whatnot. So aviation definitely is really cool. Um, yeah. So uh, next, we're going to be talking about black holes. There's a new black hole discovery, and I'm going to be discussing with my man here this new black hole discovery by NASA. So, as I mentioned before, there is a new black hole discovery by NASA. So, we're talking about that right now. So, do you know what a black hole is? Could you like give a bit of introduction of what a black hole is?
Yeah, so essentially, you can think of a black hole as a vacuum, like a very powerful vacuum. And so it basically absorbs everything nearby, even light. So once something gets very close, it's pulled in and it's vanished. It's like a vacuum on steroids. So it's a very powerful pull. And interestingly, if you fall in a black hole, there's a theory your body will go under a process called spaghettification. And what that means is basically the gravity will stretch and compress you at the same time. And so if you guys watched the latest season of Loki, you saw Victor Timely get turned into spaghetti. So that's essentially what will happen to you.
That's really interesting. I should watch the new Loki season. Um, so basically, what NASA did is they had the James Webb Telescope, and I'll be talking about that later. And they also have a Chandra X-ray Observatory, which is here on Earth. And what they're able to do is they're able to find a black hole um, called in the galaxy called UHZ1. It is like 13.2 billion light years away. That is pretty far. And just for the people who didn't know or don't know what James Webb Telescope is, it is a telescope that was released by NASA all the way back in Christmas of 2021, and they partnered with the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency to create such a huge project. And the reason why they released the telescope is to discover the unknowns of space, including the black hole that we're talking about here. It basically has infrared radiation technology to prove or disprove the space theories we know today.
And you know what's interesting is how they pulled it off because NASA was able to combine data from pictures from the Chandra X-ray Observatory and infrared pictures from the James Webb Telescope, and they were able to spot a black hole in the UHZ1 galaxy.
Really interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. What do you think is the significance of discovery? I mean, like a lot of people like wondering, like, that's cool. We found a black hole. It's like the first one since 2019. But what really is the significance of this one?
I think it's fascinating myself because it changes your perspective on the understanding of black hole formation. Because so in this black hole specifically, it's in its early growth stage. That means it has a mass of 10 and 100 million times of our sun. And what's interesting is that it's similar in mass to the galaxy it resides in. So it basically defies our previous expectations of how these black holes develop.
That's interesting. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest things of these discoveries is like if these discoveries are made by NASA and all these huge agencies, it means something big. And because this is like a call out to all those scientists and those astronomers out there, um, a call out to like, disproving theories. That is the biggest thing about discoveries. What do you know like what theories they're trying to disprove? Or
Yeah, so in 2017, Professor Natarajan from Yale University actually had a theory of how this data shows that huge clouds of gas form the black hole. Yet previously, people thought that black holes were just formed from a star that collapses. So it's very interesting how our idea of black holes is changing and it's always evolving.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's always like the point of these discoveries, and that's also the point of the James Webb Telescope. We are trying to disprove and evolve and change our theories of anything, and in this case, it was the black hole. So it's really interesting how it's not just formed from a star collapsing, but it's also from it can be formed from huge clouds of gas. So, what do you think is their future approach now they have discovered this, or what do you think they will do with this data, or what is the future approach for NASA?
So like I said, the theories are going to keep expanding and our understanding will get better. So I think NASA will continue using the Webb telescope and other telescopes to piece together like a better picture since the universe is always changing. So I think it's interesting what NASA will do from here on out.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm pretty excited I'm pretty excited what James Webb Telescope will do. I mean, it's not just black holes they discover. They also discover like exoplanets, maybe like how exoplanets form, maybe like star formation. Um, like the last episode, we were discussing about supernovas. So maybe the James Webb Telescope might just talk about that and might discover about what those are. How did they form? And maybe the biggest one, which everyone probably on Earth wants to know, is how did the universe form? How did Earth form? How did this our solar system form? How did the sun form? Right? We want to know all of those answers, and basically they sent out this telescope to kind of find those answers. And I don't think that telescope will last forever, but I think it'll get a lot of information about our universe, and it's still changing, right? We might in the future, um, future astronomers and scientists will create new, telescopes and satellites and rocket ships out in space, to find even way beyond this galaxy or way beyond clusters of galaxies. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. Um, so yeah, uh, so we're signing off for now.
Thank you for
Again,
having me.
yeah. Thank you for joining today. So make sure to subscribe, like, follow wherever you're listening to my podcast, and we'll catch you next time. See you.